Good afternoon, students. So today's our topic of video demonstration is knee joint. So this is the knee joint of right side. This is your right femur. This is your right tibia. This is your patella, and here is your fibula. Right now, knee joint is the most complex joint of the body, as it includes the three joints. One is medial femorotibial, lateral femorotibial, and femoropatellar. You can see femur is articulating with patella. Now, knee joint is a kind of condylar variety of synovial joint, and it also includes one saddle joint. Condylar synovial joints are between the medial condyle of femur and between the medial condyle of tibia, and the one between the lateral condyle of femur with lateral condyle of tibia. The saddle joint is between the femur and the patella, right? Now, what are the articular surfaces in the knee joint? The femoral condyles are articulating with the tibial condyles below and behind. The femoral condyles are articulating with the tibial condyles below and behind. The femur is articulating with the patella. Now, what are the ligaments which are taking part in the knee joint? First of all, your main ligament or is your fibrous capsule. The fibrous capsule, it is thin and it is deficient anteriorly. It is replaced anteriorly by your quadriceps femoris tendon, and then patella, and then ligamentum patelli. Right? Now, the femoral attachment of the fibrous capsule, it is 1 centimeter beyond the articular margin. Here is your articular margin, and it is 1 centimeter beyond the articular margin, and it has three special features. First special feature is that anteriorly it is deficient. Anteriorly you can see the capsule is deficient. Second thing, posteriorly the capsule is attached to the intercondylar line, and laterally it encloses the origin of popliteus. Laterally the capsule encloses the origin of popliteus. Now, what are the attachments of the fibrous capsule on the tibia? It extends 1 centimeter beyond to the articular margin. And here also it has three special features. It descends till the tibial tuberosity. Here the fibrous capsule attachment descends till the tibial tuberosity, and there at the tibial tuberosity the capsule is deficient. Posteriorly the capsule, it is attached to the intercondylar ridge. Posteriorly the capsule on the tibia, here you can't appreciate it, but on the bones you know, posteriorly the attachment of capsule extends till the intercondylar ridge, and posterolaterally there is a gap. There is a gap behind the lateral condyle for the passage of tendon of popliteus. Here is a gap in the fibrous capsule for the passage of tendon of popliteus, right? Now, there are some modifications of the fibrous capsule. First modification is the coronary ligament. The fibrous capsule, see, these are your two menisci. These are your fibrocartilaginous rings. This is your medial meniscus. This is your lateral meniscus, right? The part of the fibrous capsule between this menisci to the tibial condyles, is known as coronary ligament. Okay. The next modification of the fibrous capsule is your short lateral ligament. It is a cord-like thickening of the capsule, and it is present deep to the fibular collateral ligament. This is your fibular collateral ligament. The short lateral ligament, it is present deep to the fibular collateral ligament, and it extends from the lateral epicondyle. This is your lateral epicondyle, right? Here is your lateral epicondyle. It extends from the lateral epicondyle to the medial border of the apex of fibula. At the lateral epicondyle, it blends with the tendon of popliteus. Okay. Now, there are some openings in the fibrous capsule. First opening, it leads into the suprapatellar bursa. In the end of this video, we are going to learn about the bursas. For now, there is an opening which leads into the suprapatellar bursa, and there is another opening in the fibrous capsule for the exit of the tendon of popliteus. Okay. Now, our second ligament. One thing more about the fibrous capsule is that it is very weak. The fibrous capsule, it is very weak, and it is strengthened by many muscles around it. First of all, it is strengthened anteriorly by the quadriceps femoris and ligamentum patelli, medially by semitendinosus, sartorius, gracilis, laterally by biceps femoris, right, and our fibular collateral ligament. Posteriorly, it is strengthened by popliteal muscle and popliteal vessels and sciatic nerve. Now our second ligament is ligamentum patelli. This is your ligamentum patelli. It is the common tendon. It is the central portion of the common tendon of insertion of quadriceps femoris muscle, right? And the rest part of the common tendon of insertion of quadriceps femoris is known as medial and lateral patellar retinacula, right? I repeat, this is the central portion of the common tendon of insertion of quadriceps femoris, and this is the medial portion, and this is the lateral portion, which are known as medial and lateral patellar retinacula. Medial and lateral patellar retinacula are extensions of the vastus medialis and vastus lateralis muscle. Now, the ligamentum patelli, it extends from the margins and rough posterior part of the apex of the patella, from rough posterior part of apex of patella and margins, and it extends till the upper part of the tibial tuberosity. It extends till the upper smooth part of the tibial tuberosity. Now our next ligament is the tibial collateral ligament. Here you can appreciate this ligament. This is your tibial collateral ligament. Tibial collateral ligament, it is a long band of great strength. Superiorly, it is attached to the medial epicondyle just below the adductor tubercle. It is attached to the medial epicondyle just below the adductor tubercle, and inferiorly it divides into two parts, anterior part and posterior part. The anterior part is also known as superficial part, and the posterior part is also known as deep part. The anterior part, it is attached to the medial border. It is attached to the medial border and the posterior part of the medial surface of tibia. You can see here, it is attached to the posterior part of the medial surface of tibia and to the medial border of tibia. Now the posterior part of the tibial collateral ligament, it is attached to the medial condyle of tibia. It is attached to the medial condyle of tibia above the groove for the semimembranosus. Here is the groove for the semimembranosus, and it is attached to the medial condyle of tibia above the groove of the semimembranosus. Now, morphologically, the tibial collateral ligament, it represents the degenerated tendon of the adductor magnus muscle. I repeat, tibial collateral ligament, it represents the degenerated part of the adductor magnus muscle. Now, our third ligament is the fibular collateral ligament. Third ligament is our fibular collateral ligament. This ligament, it extends from the lateral epicondyle of the femur above. This extends from the lateral epicondyle of the femur above the popliteal groove, right? And inferiorly, it is embraced by the tendon of biceps femoris, and it is attached to the head of fibula in front of its apex. It extends from the lateral epicondyle to the head of fibula in front of its apex. Now, it is separated from the lateral meniscus by the tendon of popliteus. It is separated from the lateral meniscus by the tendon of popliteus, and it is also free from the capsule. Morphologically, fibular collateral ligament, it represents the femoral attachments of the muscle peroneus longus. It represents the femoral attachment of peroneus longus muscle. One thing more, fibular collateral ligament is also known as lateral ligament. Now comes our oblique popliteal ligament. Comes our oblique popliteal ligament. Oblique popliteal ligament is an expansion from the tendon of semimembranosus muscle. Oblique popliteal ligament, it runs upwards and laterally, and it blends it with the posterior surface of the capsule. Here will be your posterior surface of the capsule. So the oblique popliteal ligament, it blends with the posterior surface of the capsule. Now the oblique popliteal ligament, it is attached to the intercondylar line and to the lateral condyle of the femur. It is closely related to the popliteal artery. Now, the main viva question for all of you is, what are the structures which are piercing the oblique popliteal ligament? So, you all are going to answer it as the oblique popliteal ligament is pierced by medial genicular vessels and nerves, and posterior division of the obturator nerve. Right? Two structures are piercing it, medial genicular vessels and nerve, and posterior division of the obturator nerve. Now our sixth ligament is arcuate popliteal ligament. Arcuate popliteal ligament is a posterior expansion of the short lateral ligament. We all know what short lateral ligament was a modification of the fibrous capsule. Now the arcuate popliteal ligament is a posterior expansion from the short lateral ligament. It extends backwards from the head of fibula. This is the head of fibula. So it extends backwards from the head of fibula, and it is attached to the posterior border. Here is your intercondylar area of tibia. And it extends till the posterior border of the intercondylar area of tibia. Now our seventh ligament is cruciate ligaments. These are very important ligaments of the knee joint. These are thick and strong bands. These are thick and strong fibrous bands. Can you appreciate these bands? This is the anterior side of the knee joint. Okay, so I am displacing patella from here. So this is your anterior cruciate ligament. Okay, now I am turning this towards posteriorly. Okay, so this is your posterior cruciate ligament. Okay, now let me explain these ligaments one by one. First of all, these are direct bonds of union between the femur and tibia. You can see these are directly joining the femur and tibia. Now they maintain the antero-posterior stability of the knee joint, right? Now anterior cruciate ligament, it begins from the anterior part of the intercondylar area of tibia. It runs upwards, backwards and laterally. It extends upwards, backwards and laterally. You can see it is going till the lateral condyle of femur. Now, more precisely, what you will say, it goes till the medial surface, it goes till the posterior part of the medial surface of the lateral condyle of femur, right? Now, it is taught during extension of knee. This will be your extension of knee. Anterior cruciate ligament is taught during the extension of knee. Okay, now next is a posterior cruciate ligament. This is your posterior cruciate ligament. It begins from the posterior part of the intercondylar area of tibia. It runs upwards, forwards and medially. You can see it is running upwards, forwards and medially, and it is attached to the anterior part. See, it is going till the medial condyle of femur. Now more precisely you are going to answer is, it is going to the anterior part of the lateral surface of the medial condyle of femur, right? Now this ligament, it is taut during the flexion of the knee. Now our eighth ligament is menisci or semilunar cartilages. I have shown you earlier also. These are your menisci. These are also known as semilunar cartilages, right? These are two fibrocartilaginous discs and they are shaped like crescents. These are two fibrocartilaginous discs and they are shaped like crescents. Now they deepen the articular surface of the condyles of tibia. They deepen the articular surface of condyles of tibia. One thing more, knee joint. The knee joint is a complex joint because the menisci, that they divide the joint cavity into two compartments, upper compartment and the lower compartment. The upper compartment is also known as femoromeniscal compartment, as it occurs between the femur and the meniscus, and the lower compartment is also known as tibiomeniscal compartment, as it lies between the menisci and the tibia, right? Now flexion and extension, it occurs in the upper compartment, whereas rotation, it occurs in the lower compartment. Now each meniscus has the following parts. Each meniscus has two ends, it has two borders and two surfaces. Now there are two ends, one is anterior end and one will be the posterior end. They are attached to the intercondylar area of the tibia. They are attached to the intercondylar area of tibia and they are referred to as anterior and posterior horns, right? Now there will be two borders. One will be the outer border and one will be your inner border. The outer border, it is thick convex. The outer border will be thick convex and it is close to the fibrous capsule. Obviously the outer border is going to face the fibrous capsule, so it will be close to the fibrous capsule. And the inner border, it is thin, concave and free. It is thin, concave and free. Now two surfaces, one will be the upper surface which is going to face the femur and one will be the lower surface which is going to face the tibia. Now the upper surface is concave. The upper surface is concave for articulation with femur and the lower surface is flat and it rests on the peripheral two-thirds of tibial condyle. It rests on the peripheral two-thirds of tibial condyle. Remember it, the upper surface is concave and the lower surface is flat. Now the peripheral part is thick and vascular. The peripheral part of the menisci, it is thick and vascular and the inner part is avascular and it is nourished by the synovial fluid. Now let us come to each lemniscus one by one. First of all, we will be covering the medial lemniscus. The medial lemniscus, it is nearly circular, being wider behind than in front. Means the medial meniscus is wider behind and it is thin in front. Now the posterior fibers of the anterior end are continuous with the transverse ligament. Here you can see these are the two ends. These are the two anterior ends of the this is the anterior end of medial lemniscus. This is the anterior end of lateral lemniscus. There is one ligament which is joining the two ends of the two lemnisci. That ligament is your transverse ligament. Now the posterior fibers of the anterior end are continuous with the transverse ligament, right? And the peripheral margin, it is adherent to the deep part of the tibial collateral ligament. Remind it, the medial lemniscus, it is attached to the deep part of the tibial collateral ligament, right? Now is lateral lemniscus. Lateral lemniscus, it is nearly circular. The posterior end of the lateral lemniscus, it is attached to the medial condyle of femur. The posterior end of the lateral lemniscus, it is attached to the medial condyle of femur by two meniscofemoral ligaments, right? So the mobility of the posterior end of this meniscus, it is controlled by popliteus and two meniscofemoral ligaments. Now because of the attachments of the menisci to the multiple structures, the movement of this menisci is limited, and out of these two menisci, the medial meniscus has more firm attachment to the tibia, right? So out of two ligaments, medial meniscus की movement सबसे ज़्यादा limited होगी. Okay. Now the functions of menisci, they help in making the articular surfaces congruent. They serve as shock absorbers. They lubricate the joint cavity, and because of their nerve supply, they also have a sensory function, that is proprioception. Now we will be discussing the movements occurring at the knee joint. This will be the flexion and extension, medial rotation and lateral rotation of the knee joint. Now this is your extension of the knee joint, and this is done by your quadriceps femoris muscle. Now comes our flexion. Flexion is done by biceps femoris, semitendinosus and semimembranosus. This is your flexion, right? Then comes your medial rotation of flexed leg. Medial rotation of the flexed leg, it is done by popliteus and semimembranosus. In the lateral rotation, it is done by biceps femoris. Now locking is also a special type of movement which occurs at the knee joint. It is done by vastus medialis, and unlocking of the knee joint, it is done by popliteus.